It survives. Yes, family larger. Pick up yourself with your host, Selah, Shalom, chiming in on the ones and twos. You know how we do. Survives, yes, family. Large up yourself, big up yourself. Now we go with Selah, Shalom. You know how we do. Blood clot vibes. Yes, family. Large up yourself, big up yourself. You know how we do. Voice Selah, Shalom, chiming in on the ones and twos. Great afternoon. As we get in tuned. We zone out, we zone in. We go out, we go in. We beg. It's the vibes. Yes, hopefully I see the family. Let's go ahead and get a commercial break. Make sure to
bittersweetherbals.com.
Make sure to get your you-know-what, your bitters.
Bitter Sweet Herbals. What it tastes is bitter, but the results are sweet. bittersweetherbals.com.
Yes, family. Yeah. You know how we do. You know how we start these things off. The vibes. Make sure you have uno spiff in the vibes. We open up the eyes. You dig? Yes, I. Creative vibes over here, man. You know what I'm saying? High vibrational frequency music. High octane. Airbender. I mean, we starting off vortices with this beat right here, you know what I mean? We set worlds in motion with the production. You know how we do. Creative Gang Gang. Shout out Creative Gang Gang in the building. Creative Gang for life. Okay. survives. To answer your question, yes. The 16 crucified saviors, they came much later. The 16 crucified saviors, that's around like anywhere from the 8th, 7th century, 8th, 7th, 6th, 5th century BC, time of the crucified savior. Zarathustra precedes all that. Yes, family. He's not the very first savior of humanity. There have been many saviors prior to him, but not mentioned in that sense, you know. Because the Ions was doing these things long before the Ottomans and things of that nature. But that's a whole nother topic there. Yes, family, vibes are going. But yeah, just to answer that, you know what I mean? Zarathustra was the first. Before Yeshua, before Moses, before Osiris, was Zarathustra. They placed Zarathustra at a very old time in the OAHSPE. They placed Zarathustra roughly around 8900 BC. That precedes Egypt and all that, you know what I'm saying? But timelines, you know what I'm saying, is off. You know, we're trying to track some of these prophets. Because a lot of these false gods, they rewrote the text and made it seem like the text was, you know what I mean, started during their reign. Like, for example, like Christianity, Constantine came with, you know what I mean, Christianity. He put the stamp on Christianity, but the precursors of it built up to that, you know what I mean? It just didn't start with Constantine. It was a build up. You did. So word was Zarathustra asked. Let me see. There we go. Let me see that. Let me get that around. It survives. Just let the family chime in, yes? Some of the wisdom of Zarathustra. Matter of fact, let's read some Zarathustra so the I can bring up Zarathustra vibes. We're going to touch on some of the principal things of Zarathustra since we might them bring him up. Oh yeah, and another thing too. Man, I was supposed to have a bill yesterday with Daryl Cosma. But boy, I was done for, man. I said, I'm going to take a little nap. By the time I woke up, nigga, it was 11:27. I was like, damn, I missed a whole hour and 27 minutes. So we're going to come back and rehash that. You see what I'm saying? That was on me. I be goddamn doing a lot of shit, boy. So that tiredness finally kicked in and caught up with my ass. It's a blood clot vibes. Let's run the rhythm. It's a blood clot vibes. It survives. Yes, we're going to go through some of the book of Zarathustra. I mean? Chapter 9. Let's touch on that. It's interesting, yo. It's interesting how the Bible only have you dealing with a certain part of history, a certain group of people, and it leaves you ignorant to the rest of the world. You speak to some Hebrew Israelites about Zarathustra, they couldn't tell you yay or nay about it. But they headline another book. His family. Question, what was Australia Hindu? I'm not sure. Because Hinduism comes from the Indus Valley, the Dravidians, you know what I mean? But Australian Hindu, that would have to mean that some Hindus would have had to go from India to Australia to present the information or the culture to the indigenous people of Australia. But the OAHSPE don't talk about the Hindus' culture reaching Australia, but it could have, though, don't get me wrong, they just don't mention it. Intuition go in the building. Peace to the Queen, Deshaun. It's about time for another presentation, Deshaun. What's good? Let's get another presentation going. Matter of fact, let's get the presentations back going. Anybody willing and ready to do a presentation, holla at your boy Selah, Shalom. Let's get these presentations back popping, you dig? So we'll go into the book of Zarathustra. So in the book of Zarathustra, or better yet, Book of God's Word in the OAHSPE, chapter 9. This is just some of the wisdom of created through Zarathustra. It says, by the host of Haratai, the voice of Ahura Mazda came to Zarathustra, the all-pure. Hear me, O Zarathustra. I am Ahura Mazda. Now, for those who don't know, Ahura Mazda is equivalent to God, while Mazd is equivalent to creator. Hear about your creator who created all things. These are the chief best places created. First, the earth, the air and the water, and all the living that are on them and in them. Out of darkness came void, waste, and nothing was, as seeming nothing. And he, you remember, when y'all see he, some of y'all may go and thinking that's a man. And he, motion, the creator, or Maz, shaped all things. You cannot shape all things if you don't have no motion. Now let's get that precept. Hold up, you know what? Let me do something real quick. Hold on for a minute, family. Let me vibes up for a minute. Hello. Where we at with it? All right, there we go. All right. So verse 3 states, out of darkness came void, waste, and nothing was, as seeming nothing, and he, motion, the creator, or Ma, shaped all things. Let's go to chapter 1. Let's go to verse 1. Being positive was called he and him. Precept upon precept here, a little there, a little. We go back to the book of Jehovah. It lets us know who the he is. Being positive was called he and him. The all motion was a speech. Motion. And he, motion, the creator, is motion, or Mazd is motion, shaped the shape of things. The living that live, the living that are dead, the first of all that breatheth, these the creator or Mazd created. with legs or wings, and with hair, feathers or naked, meant to crawl, walk, or fly, so created Creator Ormazd all the living. You see how it's distinguishing Ormazd as the creator? When we first read up here, it started with what? Ahura Mazda, and that's equivalent to God. So God is telling Zarathustra about the creator. See the difference? Even in the story of Zarathustra, it distinguishes the creator from the gods. Then asked Zarathustra, the all pure, inquiring, Ahumazda, saying, to whom else have you spoken these things? Now this is the question. Who else? Now Zarathustra is the first one who came with the book to give to the people. Like Moses came with the law book, Zarathustra was the first to do that, to distribute it among the nations around the world. He's the first to bring it to humanity as a whole. But look what the answer to this question is. Then asked Zarathustra, the all pure, inquiring of Ahura Mazda, saying, to whom else have you spoken these things? Look what it states. Ahura Mazda said, God said, since I told you 1,000,000 before I told you. Huh? So coming back to the brother's question when he asks, was Zarathustra the first when it came to the Savior concept? What was his answer? 1,000,000 before I told you. 1,000,000 more than 1,000 millions. Meaning to say, this ain't nothing new. As long as humans been on the planet, there was always a person to send to raise the people up once the people fall in darkness. Then asked Zarathustra, tell me one to whom you have revealed. These answered. Then answered Ahumazda, God, to Vivio, the first of men who had words, the first of women who had words. In the first days when pure men and pure women were created, I came, I revealed. See that? So Zarathustra is not essentially the first. But as long as men been on this planet, this has always been bringing a person to the people who can tell them about heavenly things. So while we thinking Zarathustra was the first, Zarathustra raised the question, well, who you told before me? He said, before you, bro, I told millions, more than 1,000 millions. Then asked Zarathustra, tell me one then, to whom you have revealed. Then answered God to Vivio, the first of men who had words. The first of men who had words. When was the first of men who had words? Let's go here. Let's go to the first of men who had words. Where do we find the first of men who had words? Look what it say here. Look what it say here. This is the Lord's first book. This is the first arc cycle after the creation of man. First book of the first Lord, chapter 4. About this time, man began to use his lips and tongue in enunciating words, prior to which he spoke in the thorax. So during the first cycle after the creation of man, the very first cycle, the Ark of One, when man began to use lips and tongue to pronounce words, that's the time when man was chosen, when the Creator chose other men to raise up prophets to let the people know about heavenly things. So again, when it states here, then asked Zarathustra, tell me one to whom you have revealed. Then answered God to Vivo, the first of men who had word. The first of men, that's key right there. The first of men who had words, the first of women who had words. We come here, about this time, man beginning meaning starting point, to use his lips and tongues in enunciating words, prior to which he spoke in the thorax. When you speak in the thorax, it's like a baby. A baby speaks from the thorax. He speaks from the gut. when a baby first starts to express sounds, he speaks from the thorax. So right here, this verse is letting you know, at this time, about this time man began. What did it say? The first of men who had words, the first of women who had words. So this would go back to these times that God is revealing to Zarathustra, like, bro, what I'm revealing to you ain't nothing new. This shit been going on. That's basically what he's telling them. So now, in the first days, when pure men and pure women were created, I came, I revealed them, I revealed. Then Zarathustra, they are pure, said, to be all pure, to be all good, to be all wise, to be all holy, to do all good works. What are these? Ahura Mazda said, these are to hear my voice, O Zarathustra. See that? Then Zarathustra said, to be all bad, to be all foolish, to be all evil, thinking to do evil works. What are these? Ahura Mazda said, these are not to hear my voice. These are Anaramanias, O Zarathustra. Then Zarathustra inquired, saying, Is the not to hear your voice a person? Is the to hear your voice a person? Is Harmonious a person? Is Vivio a person? So here God is questioning, Zarathustra is questioning God concerning these spiritual matters. He asks him, well, what is all good? How do you classify that? What is all evil? How do you classify that? He said, yo, if you doing righteous works, you know what I mean? You hear my voice. Because you're doing what's right in your heart. But if you go against that, you don't hear my voice because you go in the opposite way. You ain't listening to your parent. Ahura Mazda said to Zarathustra, "Thee are pure. Aramanius was a person, but he is dead. Vivio is a person, and he is alive, to all the holy, to all the good, to all the wise, but to all the evil, to all the bad, to all the foolish, Aramonius is not dead." See that? So these is concepts. Concepts. As long as you're striving to do evil, you're going to remain in that realm of evil, in that lower realm, in that Hadean region. So these are some of the early concepts of good and bad, God and Satan, good and evil, things of that nature. These are the early concepts that coming from Zarathustra. Then inquires Zarathustra, "Thee are pure. Where did all good come from? Where did all evil come from? Who is the all good? Who is the all evil?" Then answered Ahura Mazda to Zarathustra, saying, "You perceive now, all evil must have a name. All good must have a name. Without names, no man could talk." See that? So when people are, man, you can't name the creator, man, you can't put a name. It's not about putting a name on the creator. It's identifying. It's identifying. If you don't put a name on anything, nigga, you're going to be dumb. You're going to be considered ignorant, lack of intelligence. Behold, I write for you, O Zarathustra, thee are pure. The mark I make first, you shall call the all good, the creator, the master, the light. Here then I have made a circle and a cross and a leaf. The circle, the cross, and the leaf, that's the symbol you see on front of the OAHSPE, for those who don't know. Let me see that on there. The OAHSPE symbol, this is what it's talking about right there. With that verse read, it said the circle, the cross, and the leaf. This is the symbol and the sign of creator. Again, it states, look, let's get it right here. He says, the mark I make first, you shall call the all good, the creator, the all master, the all light. Here then have I made a circle, a cross, and a leaf. Referring to this, a circle, a cross, and a leaf. Ahura Mazda said to Zarathustra, "Thee are pure. Whoever looks upon this mark, whoever sees it, sees the name of the all names, the creator. Whoever makes this mark writes the name of the all good. Whoever pronounced this mark pronounced the name of Ormaz, the all master." So they're referencing the symbol of the cross, the circle, and the leaf, synonymous with creator, because creator is the vortex, the circle, and the east and west of the cross. It explains that in the book of Torah. Then OAHSPE made a circle and painted 4 dark corners. So let's get that. Circle with 4 dark corners. Let me see if I could get that to pop up. Oh. Right here. Circle with 4 dark corners. These are your dark corners right here. But in the middle, you have a cross. The all light is in the middle of the 4 dark. These are the four corners of the beast, the 4 heads of the beast. That's in the 4 corners of the lodge, or the 4 corners of the earth. It's so symbolic. Then OAHSPE made a circle and painted 4 dark corners in it and called it Artemanias, the drunk, the opposition to all truth, all light, all good. And OAHSPE explained to Zarathustra, and behold, there stood within the circle of evil the name of the all good, the cross, and it was light, and the corners were dark, referring to this here. The cross is right here. These are the dark corners. And the dark corners were black. OAHSPE called this mark fate, explaining to Zarathustra, the all pure, saying, these 3 marks embrace all the created creations. Hence the name of the 3rd one is fate, from which there is no escape, no separation forever. Zarathustra inquired of OAHSPE, saying, is evil evil? Is good good? OAHSPE said, evil is evil to man, but evil is not evil to OAHSPE, the creator. Good is good to man, but good is not good to OAHSPE, the creator. See that? So the concept of good and evil for us is perception. Because if we look at a lion go eat a baby deer, to us, that's messed up. That's evil. Why would? Oh man, that baby didn't get a chance to live. That's our perception. But creator is not moved by how we move, but good and evil. Good and evil are concepts for us to stay in line. Now again, it says, only 2 conditions are before OAHSPE, neither evil nor good, but ripe and unripe. To OAHSPE, that which man calls evil is unripe. To OAHSPE, that which man calls good is ripe. So consider it like a fruit. When the fruit is unripe, it's not ready. It's not ready to be eaten. It's not ready to be taken off that tree. But when the fruit is ripe and ready, then you could enjoy. You know what I mean? So these concepts was given to Zarathustra long before Moses, long before Abraham. OAHSPE went on explaining, saying, for the sake of understanding, O Zarathustra, for the sake of not confounding, you shall call evil evil and good good. Hear me then, my son. So he's like, you know what? I don't want to confuse you. Let's keep it in layman terms. Without green fruit, none could be right. Without evil, none could be good. So OAHSPE created all creation and called it good. But lo and behold, there was nothing to do. All things never moved, as if dead. All things were as nothing. Then OAHSPE blew his breath outward, and everything created, and every created thing went into motion. See that? Then OAHSPE blew his breath outward, and every created thing went into motion. And those at the front were called all good, and those at the rear were called all evil. Thus the Creator created the good creation and the evil creation, the OAHSPE and the Artemanias. Basically, in layman terms, God and Satan. See that? See, the Creator is the architect of creation. The Creator is the architect of what we would call positive and negative, good or bad. The Creator is the architect of that. But you have angels assuming to be the Creator, trying to say that they're the author of good and they're the author of evil as a deity. And that's false. Verse 10. Then OAHSPE spoke to Zarathustra, the all pure, saying, thus your creator created all things, and the time of the creation was as a time and a time and a time without measure. See that? Ain't no beginning and end to creation, but there's a function to creation. And if you understand the function of creation, you can better understand the omnipotent creator. OAHSPE said to Zarathustra, thus are the created creations, thus were the created creations, and thus shall ever be the created creations. Does that sound familiar? Let's read that again. Does this sound familiar? Thus are the created creations, thus were the created creations, thus shall ever be the created creations. Now let's go back to the Book of Jehovah, right? That's a precept right there. What's that a precept to? This right here. All was, all is, all shall be. The all spoke, motion was, and is, and ever shall be. That's a precept to this line right here. Thus are created creations. Thus were the created creations, and thus shall ever be the created creations. What these two verses are demonstrating is past, present, future. All was past, all is present, all shall ever be future. The all spoke. Motion was past, motion is present, motion shall ever be future. When it comes to creator and creation, thus are the created creations. Past, thus were the created creations. Present, thus shall ever be the created creations. Future. So the past, present, and future is all based off of motion. And that motion flows in a circular motion. That's how you get past, present, future cycling itself, repeating itself. What it states here. The light of all light is OAHSPE. He, motion, the soul of all souls. These are the things seen and the things unseen created by OAHSPE, your creator. Ma, the earth, almighty. Then is voice, the expression of things. The all speech, the all communion created by OAHSPE, your creator. And by Ma, the Almighty Mother, a virgin never before conceived, and this was Vivio, the son. See that? The whole concept of the virgin birth and all that. This was, the Persians had this shit before you niggas. This is where you got it from. Abraham was a Persian. Hebrew Israelites are descendant of Persians. So this is your, this is the root of your spiritual system. It says, you're created by Ma, the Almighty Mother. So mother is earth. A virgin never before conceived, and this was Vivio, the son. OAHSPE said to Zarathustra, the all pure, watch me, O Zarathustra. Here I make one straight line, and now I make another straight line, and another all joined. Then Zarathustra answered, saying, you have made a triangle. What is the meaning? So he made to Zarathustra a triangle. Right. Angle. So it says, then Zarathustra answered, saying, you have made a triangle. What is the meaning? Or OAHSPE? Or OAHSPE? Then OAHSPE answered, saying, 3 in 1. There go your Trinity. See the concept of the 3 in 1? It's been around. This ain't nothing new. The false gods made it into something else. Then OAHSPE answered, saying, 3 in 1, O Zarathustra, Father, Mother, and Son. See that? Father, Mother, and Son. Where do we see Father and Mother and Son at? with Isis, Haru, with Osiris, Asar, and Haru. He says, Ormaz, the ghost of things, Ma, the seen and unseen, and Vivio, the expression of things. So these concepts exist in the Persian doctrine, in the Zarathustrian writings. The mutilated remains of the Sanskrit. Mazda said to Zarathustra, these three compromise all things, and all things are just one. Now, example, he's talking about 3 in 1. And that 3 in 1 also is solid, liquid, and gas. This is the 3 in 1 right here. See that? State of matter. Solid, liquid, and gas, all composed of what? One source. Gas is the first cause of creation, and then from gas you get liquids and solids. Mazda said to Zarathustra, these three compromise all things, and all things are just one, nor were there more, nor ever shall be. Nevertheless, O my son, each of these has 1,000,000 parts, 1,000,000,000 parts, 1,000,000,000,000 parts, and every part is like the whole. You, O Maz, you, O Zarathustra, also, for you have within yourself those three attributes. So for you have within yourself those three attributes and no more. And each and all created things have these three attributes in them. Thus, Ormaz created all the living creation. Brothers and sisters, he created them. See that? Brothers and sisters, he created them in likeness of himself, with three entities embraced in one, which are first the ghost, the soul, which is incomprehensible. Second, the beast, the figure, the person, which is called individual. And third, the expression, to receive and to impart. So these are the Trinitarian concepts in Zarathustra. Here. Ahumazda said to Zarathustra, the all pure, to receive and to impart. What else has man? What more does he desire? Then Ahumazda drew a picture of a cow and a picture of a horse, a strong horse dashing forth, and he asked Zarathustra, saying, which of these signify receiving? Which of these signify to impart? And Zarathustra perceived. Ahumazda said to Zarathustra, to be negative is to be a cow receiving. To be positive is to be a horse imparting. Ahumazda said to Zarathustra, to be negative is to be a cow, receiving. To be positive is to be a horse, imparting. So he's basically describing and using animals as a reference to positive and negative forces, energy. Zarathustra inquired of Ahumazda, saying, how many words are there that can be written words? You have now written many wise words, full of meaning. How many more words are there? Then answered Ahumazda, saying, 1,000 words and 10,000 words would not be all, but 10 times 10,000, 100,000, and these are all the words created. So now he's just asking them all type of stuff. Well, goddamn, how many words are there? Like, I'm talking to God. I can ask God anything. Zarathustra, the all-pure, said, write down all the words for me, and I will explain the meaning of them to me, so that I may go before the world teaching all truth, so that men will no longer be in darkness. That was the purpose of Zarathustra's mission right there. To spread, like how Jesus went to go spread the gospel into the world. Zarathustra did the same thing. He went to go spread the word of Creator to the world. And look what it states here. Then, O Mazda wrote down tens of thousands and thousands of words and explained the meaning. After that, Zarathustra sat in the bushes for 30 days and 30 nights, neither eating nor drinking nor sleeping. See that? Didn't Moses, a lot of prophets do that? Fasting for 30 and 40 days? And then Ahumazda revealed the secret of heaven and earth to him and commanded him to write them in a book. See that? Which he did. And this was the first book, the Zarathustrian law, the Almazdian law. See that? This was the first book. See that? Where he get these records from? He said, look, and then Ahumazda revealed the secrets of heaven to him and commanded him to write them in a book. What are the secrets of heaven? Let's go do some precept. Precept here a little, precept there a little. What it states right here. What it states right here. What it states right here. What Jehovah say? What Jehovah say? God shall cause a record to be kept in heaven of his administration and those of his word, of his lords. And he and they shall enjoin it upon their successors, forever to keep a like record. See that? There's records in the heavens. In the time of my harvest, a copy of what? These records shall be taken up to my Etherian kingdoms and filed. You know, like when you're in a library and you file the books, and filed with my Orion chiefs, archangels, in the roadway of the travel of the great serpent, for their deliberation regarding the progress and management of the inhabitants of the world. So there's records and libraries in the heavens. So when it states, and then Ahumazda revealed the secrets of heaven and earth to him and commanded him to write them in a book. The secrets of heaven are these libraries, these records that are kept among the gods. So we just get in a small slice and a portion of these records. And another example to coincide with that, as far as these records, when we go to the book of, the ending of the book of the Ark-a-Bon, no, the first book of the first Lords right here. When you go to this last chapter right here, what it states here, another precept, what it states here. Keep in mind, we read Zarathustra, and then Ahumazda revealed the secret of heaven and earth to him and commanded him to write them in a book, right? Look at this. God said, be wise, O man, in the words of your God. My records do not come up out of the ground, nor from the books of mortals. What he states right here, I open my heavenly libraries and find my living sons and daughters who once trod the earth. So the key point is this right here. I open my heavenly libraries. See that? What Zarathustra is being revealed? And then Ahumazda revealed the secrets of heaven. Right here. The secrets of heaven and earth. The secrets of heaven and earth. I open my heavenly libraries. These records will be considered secret to us because we don't have them. It's being revealed. So the Creator, through the gods' administration, they open up their libraries and they reveal a portion of their labors to man. So man can get an understanding of what's going on in the spiritual world. See how that works? You got to go within to go without. You got to go without to go within. It works both ways. So again, you just read that last sentence. And then Ahumazda revealed the secrets of heaven and earth to him and commanded him to write them in a book, which he did. And this was the first book, the Zarathustrian law, the Almazdian law. See that? By this authority, then I, Zarathustra, by the power of OAHSPE, reveal the created creations. See that? This is how the word was revealed. This is how you got this information about spiritual things. They what? Open up the heavenly libraries and find my living sons and daughters who once trod the earth. A good example of this verse right here is Antiquities Unveiled. When you read the book Antiquities Unveiled, these are supposed to be spirits from the 1st century that's coming in late 1800 to reveal what they did in the 1st century, the actual people. So you getting it straight from the horse's mouth, just like when the OAHSPE states, I open my heavenly libraries and find my living sons and daughters who once trod the earth. Huh? And it says what? Their light I recast down to mortals in a stream of fire. And lo, my words are rewritten, translated, formed into corporeal words. See that? This is how we get the revelations from heavenly things. By this authority, then I, Zarathustra, by the power of OAHSPE, revealed the created creation. Didn't your Bible starts off with the creation story? Well, guess what? Moses wasn't the first. Zarathustra was given the concept of creation before Moses, before Abraham, before the patriarchs. Ormazd created a good creation first. The land, water, firm things, out of the unseen and void, he created them. Now he said, look, out of the unseen and void created he them. Let's go back up here to the book of Jehovah, right? Because he said he created the unseen he created the seen from the unseen. It says, I am two apparent entities, nevertheless, I am only one. These entities are the unseen, which is potent, and the seen, which is of itself impotent, called corpor. So the unseen is responsible for creating the seen. How does this happen? Scoop down. Let's scoop down, my brother. All right, so check it. Where it's at. How does the seen worlds become seen? The whirlwind I made as a sign to man of the manner of my created worlds. Stop right there. What do you say? Out of the unseen and void, he created them. Out of the unseen and void. What is the unseen and void? The whirlwind I made as a sign to man of the manner of the way of my created world. So the whirlwind, as you see the power of the whirlwind gathering up dust of the earth and driving it together, know that likewise I bring together the Jaya, the Aja, and the Nebula, and the firmament by the power of the whirlwind. See that? By the power of the whirlwind, I created the corporeal sun, moon, and stars. The vortex is the unseen force. The vortex is responsible for generating the whirlwind. By you looking at a whirlwind, you're looking at the vortex. The material gases, the material corpor is taking on the semblance of that which is producing it. So when we look at a hurricane, right? See this hurricane? It's an unseen force that's producing this hurricane, this whirlwind. The vortex, which is a force that is invisible, is making the air condense and tangible enough so you could see the motion of something that which is unseen. See this vortex? You take away those clouds and you get a vortex still present. So the air, gases, that's condensed enough for you to see is showing you something that is in the unseen. So when it states, out of the unseen, Out of the unseen and void, he created them. The unseen is the vortex. The void is the material within space, time continuum. For each and every corporeal world, I created a vortex first. See that? This vortex is unseen. It only becomes seen when the air becomes dense enough for you to see it. Do not think, O man, I created the sky, a bearing waste and void of use. Even as man in the corporeal form is adapted to the corporeal earth, so is he in the spiritual form adapted to my etherian worlds. 3 greater states have I bestowed on man: the corporeal, the atmospherian, and the etherian. There goes that 3 again, those 3 in 1, all compromised, made up of the same thing. Look at this. The clouds in the air I bring into view suddenly. By what? Different currents of wind. What? I make the unseen visible and tangible to man's senses. See that? In the same way, I cause the etherian currents to bring forth Jaya Aja in the nebula prior to making corporeal world. So this one verse right here is a precept to this. Out of the unseen and void, he created them. How is that done? The clouds in the air I bring into view suddenly by what? Different currents of wind. See that? I make the unseen visible and tangible to man's senses. And in the same way, I cause the etherian currents to bring forth Jaya, Aja, and Nebula prior to making corporeal worlds. So the OAHSPE is explaining that the vortex, which is unseen, is responsible for making things tangible and visual to us through the condensing of air. And then he states what? Second, the heavenly lights and the heat and the cold everywhere. Third, all living animals, fish, birds. Fourth, man and woman. See that? Then Omar spoke through his son Vivio, saying, speech, voice, words, and man and woman were only talking animals created in all the created worlds. Omar then created death, Harmonious, creating him with 7 heads. First vanity, tattling, then worthlessness, lying, incurable wickedness, then evil invention for evil, then king and leader, divas. Ormaz then created association, clans, by words bringing men together. So he's giving you just a rundown. His creator. Ormaz then created an habitation. And then he created dwelling places for the gods. Varina. With 4 good corners and 4 evil corners, he created them. Ormaz created sustenance for the living and the dead. Hama, Ahoma, Hauma. Then he created the boon of rest for the weary. Harakata, Harakuta. After that, created sweet-smelling and rich-growing pastures, meadows. So here, this is a breakdown of the Zarathustrian doctrine given to Zarathustra from God many, many moons before Abraham, Moses, and the boys. And Ormaz created combination, unity, which is strength, chakra, the power to receive knowledge. Hedi Ormaz. Now look, it says chakra. You know, a lot of people like to talk about the chakra. Right there in the book. Ormaz then created the holy day. Then he made the 4 signs of the moon. The 4 signs of the moon, you already know, your 4-quarter Sabbath, 7, 14, 21, 28. Those are 4 signs of your 4 quarters of the moon. And he said, 6 days you shall labor, O man, and worship on the 7th, because they are the moon's time. See that? See that? If you ain't understanding the moon cycles, nigga, you don't know what the hell going on. If you niggas still following Saturday as the Sabbath, it's okay to do that. But if you're not understanding how these moon cycles work, nigga, you lost. You just as lost as the Christians you're trying to preach to. And here it's talking about 6 days of work and the 7th day of rest. You thought that shit started with Moses. You thought that shit started with your biblical creation story. This precedes that. Zarathustra precedes that. Then Omaz, the creator, created the power to live without kings, like the Ains in the east. And the name of this power he created was called Rana. Rana. Then spoke Ahumazda to Zarathustra, the all-pure, saying, to attain to Rana, how to attain to Rana? This then is the holy Mazdian law. So in the Zarathustrian law, you have 3 laws. You have the Mazdian law, you have Ahumazda's law, and then you have the Zarathustrian law. There's 3 parts to it. Ormaz shall be king, and you shall acknowledge no other. He shall be your all highest love forever, and above all other loves. Now it's crazy because here it states the creator shall be king, no other, right? But then you got King David, you got the reign of kings in Israel. I remember one Israelite tried to say, like, yo, don't use the word king. And I was like, well, nigga, your Bible say King David. Omar shall be king, and you shall acknowledge no other. So we don't acknowledge no King Davids, no King Solomons. We acknowledge them as just regular men in position of power due to the politics of the land. Check this out. He shall be your all highest love forever, and above all others, and all other loves. You shall disown all other rulers, kings, queens, lords, and gods. Gods is Elohims. You shall disown all other rulers, kings, queens. See that? Even Zarathustra and the boys wasn't dealing with no God worship, no Lord worship, but Creator only. You shall not bow down in reverence except to who? Or homage your Creator. See that? In the Zarathustrian doctrine, is distinguishing who Creator is in comparison to these other deities who's running around like your biblical deities claiming to be Creator. You shall covenant yourself to your Creator every day and teach your children to do so also. Look what it states. You shall keep holy the 4 moon days, for they are the chains of watch of the gods and angels over mortals. See that? Your Sabbath, your 4-quarter Sabbath, which is the 7, 14, 21, 28, got to do with this changing of guardian angels over mortals. You ain't know that, did you? See that? See that? Ben knew this. Within a month time, you got 4 guardian angels that have been watching over you. Pay attention to your inspiration throughout the month. You got 4 weeks in a month. Pay attention to your inspiration. See how you pan out one week. See how your inspiration is the next week. That's the switch and the change of the angels over mortals. You shall keep holy the 4 days, which is the 4 Sabbaths, 7, 14, 21, 28. For they are the chains of watch of the gods and angels over mortals. So now you're getting a deep understanding about these so-called these holy moon days. Ye shall not kill what your Creator created alive. You shall love your father next to your Creator and obey his voice, and honor your mother, because she brought you forth by the will of your Creator. See that? You shall not allow your desires to lead you after women. A lot of people have an issue with that. You shall not take that which is another's. That's been going on for I don't know how long. You shall not be vain, for nothing is yours. Look at that. A lot of times we like to hold on to things. We like to hold on and think it's ours. Nah. When you die, nigga, that shit goes right back. It remains here. You shall not speak untruth. You shall not talk about your neighbor behind his back, for Omaz hears you, and the angels will go tell your neighbor so what you have said. See that? You ever got that feeling like, man, this nigga been talking about me, I can feel it. Now you know how this shit work. The angels, be careful what you say. Angels is around you listening. You go talk about, you gonna go knock a nigga head off, and your guardian angel go inspire the nigga, you gonna knock the head off to be aware that what you got in mind. It's levels to this shit. Niggas want to talk about they spiritually inclined, man. These niggas is not spiritually inclined. OAHSPE is revealing to you intelligence on a high level. Look at what it stated. You shall not talk about your neighbor behind his back. Why? For Omaz hears you, and the angels will go tell your neighbor's soul what you have said. You know how he may tell his neighbor that? He may have that shit in a dream. The nigga may wake up one day like, damn, I got a dream. My neighbor is the one who took my grass cutter. You know, your grass cutter went missing. You're looking for your lawnmower. You know, somebody took your lawnmower off your porch, and you just pondering who could it be. And then you have a strong feeling it's your neighbor, and kind of found out you was right. You see how that worked? You know how that worked? This is how that worked. You shall not talk about your neighbor behind his back, for Omaz hears you, and the angels will go tell your neighbor's soul what you have said. See how that worked? It's levels to this shit. You shall not be idle or lazy, or your flesh will become weak and bear down your soul. You shall not envy nor harbor hatred against any man, woman, or child. Now, everybody is convicted of this. You have black people that hate white people, and you have white people that hate black people. So while you may think you're doing good in one department of serving the Creator by not eating meat, or by not having sex, or by not doing whatever the case may be, but look what it states here. You shall not envy nor harbor hatred. A lot of you niggas harbored hatred because of slavery. Yeah. And vice versa. The European harbored hatred against the black man. The Asian, the Chinese man don't like niggas. The niggas don't like the Chinese man. The Chinese man don't like the white man. The white man don't like. It's tribal war everywhere, but you have to learn to overcome that. So while you may overcome one thing in one area, guess what? You're lacking over here. So with that being said, there are no big me's and little you's. We all on an equal playing ground. Until one of you niggas can lift both of your feet off the ground and levitate into the air and show mastery of self on that level, sit your ass down and goddamn continue to practice these habits and to continue to wean these habits that you have, that you've been practicing. See that? You may be good in practicing one thing. Like I stopped eating meat. Now, what I look like telling every nigga you shouldn't eat meat, nigga, you fucking up eating meat, don't eat meat, eat. It's okay to say those things, but you can't stop a person from doing what they're doing until it's time for them to stop. So everybody grows at their own rate. You may have a 75 in math, nigga, but you may have a goddamn 62 in English, and you may have 100 in science. See that? But to be equipped, to be sufficient, you have to have a passing grade in all of your subject matters. So you must remain humble. You shall not reprove any man or woman for their evil, for they are the creators. You shall reprove your own child and teach them the right way. You shall not lie with your wife during pregnancy. You shall not marry any of your kin except beyond the 5th generation. You shall not take to wife a woman of unclean habits. Look at that. Now keep in mind, this is the Zarathustrian law. This was given to Zarathustra before Moses. This shit sounds like some biblical shit, right? You shall not commit the self-habit. What is self-habit? I'm smoking marijuana, that's self-habit. Drinking is self-habit. Even doing shrooms, even doing psychedelics, DMTs, acid, LSD, those are self-habits. And in order to overcome, you got to let all things go. Because we're going to be rising into the Ethereal realm. So eventually we're going to have to learn to let all earthly things go in order to ascend to higher realms. As much as I love my marijuana, there's going to come a time I'm going to have to let it go in order to ascend. See that? It's a gradual constitutional growth to this shit. Don't nothing happen overnight. You shall not desire your neighbor more than you would give. You shall fast 1 day of the 4th moon. All your life, neither eating fish nor flesh, nor bread, nor fruit, nor shall anything but water enter your mouth. Look at that. So out of the 4 Sabbaths, out of the 4 quarter Sabbaths, 7, 14, 21, 28, on one of those Sabbaths, you should fast. Look what it states. You shall fast 1 day of the 4th moon. So let's say the 28th moon is the 4th moon. That's the last Sabbath of a month. You shall fast. See that? It says, neither eating fish, nor flesh, nor bread, nor fruit, nor shall anything but water enter your mouth on this Sabbath. See that? Now, when you start practicing these things, that's how these men was able to communicate with the ancestors, because they was dealing with the level of purity, and they was attuned with the moon cycles, which in return is attuned with the angels and the gods. 1 whole year of your life, you shall dwell with the poor, live with the poor, sleep with the poor, begging for alms for the poor. So that's just some of the Zarathustrian customs, family. That's just some of the Zarathustrian customs that resembles what we familiar with in scripture. A lot of the customs, culture, and ways, this shit was done. This shit was given to the Persians, given to Zarathustra. Give me a 1 in the chat if you get us understand the family. Because it's some blood clot vibes. Peace, Jamia. The Essence do that every Sabbath. Now you see where they got it from. The Zarathustrian law is the precursor to all those other religions coming down in history. Zarathustra spawned. Who came after Zarathustra? Who was the next set of prophets? It was Abraham, Brahma, Iwata, and Poe. Brahma, Abraham reestablished some of the Zarathustrian customs. Who was after Abraham, Brahma, Iwata, and Poe? It was Moses, Capelia, and China. Capelia reestablished the Zarathustrian law. Moses reinstituted some of the Zarathustra law, same custom, same culture. Yeah. Who came after Moses? You had Sakaya Buddha, Confucius, and Yahshua. And again, precursors of the same one unified doctrine, modified through the customs and cultures of the people. You dig? Chaldean account of Genesis is where the Hebrews got it from. If you want to read the true story of Genesis, as far as the creation and the hominin, primitive man, go into that Zarathustra, go into the Babylonian account, to Amun and Elis, the Gilgamesh, all that shit come out of it. Indeed. It's the blood clot vibes. Yeah, the story of Brahma and the OAHSPE is one of the illest stories when it comes to family. If you're a family person, you're gonna love the story of Brahma and his wife Iwata. How you put YouTube, YouTube. And what's interesting about that story is their last son, Hog. Because when they had their last son, the mother fell out of faith of the Creator. And the lack of her faith came through her offspring. Look at that now. When you read the story of Brahma, what you're going to realize is that your offspring has a lot to do with your conditioning mentally or where you at. When Brahma had his first 6 children, they were both all in the light. They was dealing with Creator. But when the 7th child came, the woman lost faith in the Creator. And she had a son born in darkness who didn't perceive angel perception, spiritual perception. And a lot of times when you read that story, he trying to comprehend what they see. Like they eating in breakfast or whatever, and the angel may appear at the door. They all see it except the non-believer, except Hog. He don't see it. And he like, how the fuck is y'all? I'm like, nigga, How y'all seeing this nigga? Like, I'm right here and I don't see it. It's like, but he was born in darkness due to his mother losing faith in the Creator. So that's to show you how much power the mind has in molding the child and the unborn. So we have all these children today coming out, want to be gangsters and killers and murderers, drill culture. The parent, the mother, is participating in the ideology and the mentality of that and producing offsprings on that inspiration. You see that? Yes. The Anunnakis, those who from heaven came to earth. Anu means heaven, Inki means earth. Anu was the chief deity. He had two sons, Inki and Enlil, and a sister named Karsag. They're the ones who came down to earth. Those were the ones walking in the garden looking at Adam and manipulating man, taking the rib from the rib and creating woman and all that madness, I should say. All that madness, you dig? Yeah, yo, the story of Brahma. Matter of fact, let me get that verse where Brahma's wife was in doubt of Creator when her last son was born, to show you the power of offspring. To show you the power of, like, yo, the way you think can mold and shape your offspring. This whole being. It's the vibes. It's a blood clot vibes. I think Brahma may be a descendant of Zarathustra. Let me find that part. Hold up. It's a vibes. Yes, family, you have to rise up and read. Peace to Kayla in the building. Peace to the sistren. See the sisters chiming in. Peace, Yahuda. Concrete line of Judah. Where's the big man? So check it, right? Now, this is the story of Brahma. A lot of people think that Abraham and Brahma are the same people, but the OAHSPE clearly distinguished that Abraham and Brahma are not the same person. They got their stories in here. And it's funny because when I hear people talk about it, they be so confident about, oh, Brahma and Abraham is the same person. Nigga, no, it's not. They're two different people. They're contemporary to the time period. So, but Brahma followed his trade in that country, and it came to pass they had a son born to them, and his name was We-ish. And in time another son, and his name was Vos. And then Vede, and Gitun, and Os, and Sayat. Now here, these are sons of Brahma. And he had one son called Vede. This is where you get your term Vedic. The term Vedic, the Vedas and all that. Shit from his son, yo. Now, after they lived together as a man and wife, the voice of Ormazd no longer came to Brahma. Now, this is the key. Right there. The voice of Ormazd no longer came to Brahma. Through the angel of Ormazd remained, and at times talked to both Brahma and Yutiv. And during all the time until after the birth of the sixth son, Yutiv had faith in Ormazd, and it was a faith that's in her whole heart. Check this out. It's the key point right here. But during all these years, she had communion only with the angels, and had also suffered many hardships in common with Brahma. And their love did not abate a friction, and Yutiv believed in her husband and encouraged his aspirations. Then he told her 10,000 times, I know Ormazd will come. Through me, he will deliver the faithless out of bondage. That's what he's telling his wife. You know what I mean? The creator gonna come back and tell me to do, you know what I mean? That's what's going on. Here's the catcher. And she believed in him and believed these things would come to pass, and believed her sons would have the voice of the creator with them. Also, here's the catcher right here. Here's the catcher. But after the birth of the sixth child, Yutiv lost faith in the father. She said, all my life I have been in error. There is no all person. There is no voice except the spirits of the dead. And they know little more of heaven than we. The creator is dumb, like the wind. His voice is like the wind, it speaketh nothing. So she's losing faith in the creator at the time of having her sixth. After having her sixth child, she's losing faith. Now look what it states here. And after that, she ceased to use the name Ormazd or father, Abba, but said Eolin, like the ancients. And Brahma ceased to speak anymore in the presence of his wife Yutiv regarding the coming of Ormazd to himself. And he also adopted the name Eolin, signifying like the wind, void of shape or person. So they're being tested because the creator withdrew, the voice withdrew, and he's testing them. And look what happened. While this state of unbelief was upon them, they had another child born to them, and they called his name Hog, signifying fact or without inspiration, an animal that roots in the ground. So that's the key point. That's the key point. Look at it, states right here. While this state of unbelief was upon them, they had born another child. See how powerful the mind is? While they was in this state of denying creator, they had a child, and the child had to suffer. The child had to suffer in a sense of not having spiritual perception because of the parents. These are the sins of the parents visiting the child. This is an example of that. Because they didn't believe in the creator no more. They had a child. Now the child is born without inspiration of spiritual things. So the sin felt on a child. Transgression of the law. Yutiv weaned Hog when he was 3 years old, and the next day the voice of God came to Brahma, saying, Brahma, Brahma, Brahma said, here I am, Eolin. The father said, be faithful. Another 18 years. I shall be with you to the end. Can you imagine that? You already waiting on the voice of the creator, and then he come and be like, yo, wait another 18 years when your child is grown up. Then we're going to get it popping. Brahma was so delighted, he ran home and told Yutiv, but she did not rejoice, did not answer. Silently, she looked upward for a long while, and then she said, 18 years? Hog will be 21. And you and I will be old. You see how they perceive it? But you see how creative is using wisdom with them? The story of Brahma is a deep-ass story, yo. I just wanted to read that part in reference to what Jamie brought out concerning the story of Brahma, how she's reading it. And that was an interesting part of the story when they had faith in the Creator until the last son was born, where they both lost faith, and the son came out with the results. I said, blood cleat. What type of blood clot madness is that? Most definitely, yes, sir. You don't know. You don't know, my lord. You don't know, family. OAHSPE got so many gems. This shit is endless. You can't never. That's why we, you know what I mean? That's why we can never run out of things to really talk about. There's so much to touch on. There's so much to indulge in. That's why we bring the information out to get other people involved, to indulge in and be like, yo, check us out, man. And be like, we need help breaking this information down. It's a lot. It's good. You did? Generational curse. See that? And essentially, the curse is just having a child not capable of hearing the voice due to the parents' non-belief. So that should show you the reason why we having all these crazy-ass kids born today is because of the mentality of the parents, especially the mothers, because they got to mold the child. You see what I'm saying? You got to mold a child. It's the vibes. Now check this out. Read another verse up. So God did not speak to Brahma for 18 years, but Brahma remained faithful, and Yuta was full of hope. But when the time was fulfilled in Orma's own way, he came with renewed light, which was Hog's 21st birthday. He came on the birthday of the non-believer. And look what it says, in Orma's own way. See, we expect things. We expect God to work on our way. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I want to get this. I want to get this done. And you have a vision of how you think. No. Creator got his way of revealing things to you, making things known to you. Here's the part where they see the angel, but the last son don't. Here, check it. While Brahma and his family were seated on mats, eating breakfast at sunrise, lo, a light, like that of a sun, came within the hut, passed over Brahma's head, and then disappeared. And out of the void in the space above their head came these words, from this time forward, the 21st birthday shall be the time of maturity for men. Be watchful for the voice of Ramaz. He is ever present. Now look at that. Here they're telling you that 21 is the age of adulthood for men. Right here in the Zarathustra, the story of Brahma. Interesting, right? The concept, Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate birthdays. But look what is stated here, though. Look what is stated. Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate birthdays, but look what is stated here. Lo, a light like that of a sun came within the hut, passed over Brahma's head, and then disappeared. And out of the void in the space above their head came these words, from this time forth, the 21st birthday shall be the time of maturity for men. Look at that. Nigga, your birthday is godly, nigga. That shit come with the spiritual significance. You never knew that. Huh? Niggas would be like, oh, the Bible don't have birthdays in it. Well, goddamn it, the OAHSPE is letting us know that birthdays is okay, nigga. It ain't like a nigga said worship. A light came dashing through these niggas' apartment, appeared over their head, then disappeared, and the voice came out and said, yo, when a man reached 21, that's his maturity ever. See that? Be watchful for the voice of Ramaz. He is ever present. Look at that. Now watch this. And all of them saw the light and heard the words, except who? Hog, the last son, the non-believing son. Huh? For he, having been begotten in unbelief, could neither see the light nor hear the voice. Look at that. Everybody heard it except the last son. And look what it states. For he, having been begotten in unbelief, could neither see the light nor hear the voice. Now, when we be trying to get this understanding to people in the OAHSPE, because it's so clear to us and other people have a difficult time catching it, you know why? Maybe their parents was in a state of unbelief. Maybe their parents was in a state of Christianity so far gone that they can't riddle the Bible. They could go from Christianity into Hebrew Israelism, but still dealing with that damn Bible. But due to the unbelief, it affected the offspring. So for you ladies, when you're pregnant and you're about to have a child, make sure your faith is strong in Creator. Make sure you are inspired in Creator with powerful will. You see that? OAHSPE is dropping gems here. For he have been begotten in unbelief, could neither see the light nor hear the voice. And when they all had exclaimed, behold the light, hear that voice, Hog spoke before them. Now this is what he said. This is the non-believer. This is the one who can't see. This is your Rob Born, who don't believe in spirituality, who can't hear the spirits. He says, yo, for many years you have prophesied this would come to pass when I reach my 21st birthday. Because of the love you and all bear me, I know you would not pull a joke on me, but I am seriously grieved that you say, behold the light and hear the voice. For I say to you, these things are not in reason. Don't them Kemetic niggas say that? Don't them hard body atheists say that? This can't be. You know why it can't be? Because they ain't got the light. It ain't in them. For I say to you, these things are not in reason and cannot be so. But in much hope, faith, and belief, all of which you have cultivated for years, you allowed your imagination to stand for realities. Don't the Kemetic niggas talk like that? Ain't that Rob Bowen talking right there? He don't believe in none of the spiritual shit. He called it spookism. But look, they got the mentality of him right here in the book. They got the mentality of the non-believer right here in the book, showing you how this shit works. Let's read that verse again. For many years have you, this is the son talking. This is the son who cannot perceive spirituality. And this is what he says. For many years you have prophesied this would come to pass when I reach my 21st birthday. Because of the love you and all bear me, I know you would not pull a joke on me. They thinking they clowning. But I am seriously grieved that you say, behold the light and hear the voice. For I say to you, these things are not in reason and cannot be so. But in much hope, faith, and belief, all of which you have cultivated for years, you allowed your imaginations to stand for reality. This is what the non-believer is telling those who see spiritual things. This is the same argument we facing now. We trying to tell niggas it's life after death and it's levels of spiritual ascension. And the non-believers are like, how can that be? That don't even make sense. You allowed your imagination to become reality. The same arguments we having today is being done in the household of Brahma. See that? That's why niggas need to read the OAHSPE, because the mentality of the non-believer is in the book. It got your mentality in here. And look again. Now, while Hog was thus speaking, the light came again and stood over Brahma's head, while one might count to 20. And the voice said, blessed are you, O Brahma. Bless you, O Utiv. These things had to be fulfilled. I do not preach by reason alone, but prove living examples objectively. See that? In which old age Brahma had attained Aisu. So the critics letting you know, nigga, not everything gonna come from within. I'm gonna show you objectively. I'm gonna show you before your eyes how this thing work as well. So the non-believer gonna believe, because you can't deny objective reality unless you just got the wool over your eye. Again, all of them saw and heard the manifestation of Hormaz except Hog, the last son. For he could neither see nor hear what came of the spirit. Hog said, do I not have eyes and as good as the best? Show me a hair that I cannot see. Let a mite fall that I cannot hear. Then Wish, his firstborn, answered him, saying, first, my brother, I greet you with my love, for you are the fairest and best of all the great son born of this God and goddess, our father and mother. And I appeal to you in your great wisdom, how could we all have imagined the same light at the same time and in the same place? And greater yet, how could we have imagined the same spoken words? So the son who can see the light is explaining to the son who can't see it, like, bruh, I love you and all that, but if you don't believe us, how are we saying the same thing simultaneously at the same time, describing the same thing? How'd that work? So now they're having a conversation. Hog replied, how can my answer cope with one who has wisdom like you, O my brother? You have confounded me, but still I do not understand how you, my most loving brothers, can see and hear things that I cannot. Do we not all have the same parts? So like one another, that our neighbors can scarcely distinguish us from each other? And above all else, we are all fruits from the same father and mother, the holiest wise of the created being. So look at that. The last son is trying to figure out why you niggas can see the light and I can't. But as we read earlier, the mother was in a state of unbelief while having him. So he came out without spiritual inspiration. See that? And now he's having a discussion with his brothers, like, how the hell you niggas can see it and I can't? This is some bullshit. He on that type of time right now. And look what his mother say. Yutiv, his mother, spoke, saying, I am your judgment, O Maz. That which I have done, I have done. So now she's feeling guilt because she knows she's responsible for her son not having spiritual insight. So look what she states. Now Yutiv spoke, saying, I am in your judgment, O Maz. That which I have done, I have done. Deal with me for my great unbelief. I have sinned against heaven and earth. Even while you quicken into life with me within my womb, this star of everlasting light, lo, I put out his eyes and stopped up his ears against you. The unbelief of my soul penetrated the walls of my womb. Look at that. Excuse my goddamn language, but nigga, the potency of this book is ridiculous. Look what it states right here. The unbelief of my soul penetrated the walls of my womb and shaped the fruit of my holy husband into a man of darkness. Look at that. O Ormaz, why was your daughter born? Now she's feeling guilty. I don't want to be here. Look what I produced through my unbelief. I produced a child that can't hear your voice. So she's feeling bad for this. Yutif fell into tears. Hog said, O goddess mother, do not weep, but rejoice for the glory of my birth. Because you and my holy father are very God among men, brought me into life, my soul is boundless in rejoicing. I declare to you, O mother, I am not in darkness, nor am I blind and deaf. If there is another world, what does it matter to me? The glories of this one are boundless. And if there is a great light and a voice, what are they to me? You have so filled my every vein of my blood with your warm love, and with the sweet love of these, my holy brothers, and with the wisdom of my father, God among men, that I know nothing but to rejoice and to invent prayers and thanks to you all with all my wisdom and strength. See the balance? See the wisdom of the unbeliever? Although he can't comprehend spiritual things, his glory resides in the love in the physical world, in the corporeal world. And that's the seed of spiritual growth, the service and the love done unto others. So although he can't hear spiritual things, he can still practice the ways of Creator by love, rejoicing, making others happy. That is the service of Jehovah. Don't forget, just because you don't hear the voice don't mean you ain't serving Creator. We don't hear the goddamn voice, but we know to serve Creator is to do righteousness unto others. See that? And now the light gathered within the soul of Brahma, and he was one with the Father. Then Ormaz, the Creator, spoke through Brahma, saying, I created the earth not to be despised, as the Zarathustrians do through the hearts of monarchies and priests, but so that it should be the glory of man. This was the Zarathustrian law. But for the sake of profit, bondage, and evil, they have perverted my doctrine and bound up my peoples. They profess me, even Ormaz, but they have turned my commandments and my doctrine upside down. See that? See that? At this time, the Zarathustrian custom is corrupted. By the time Brahma roll around, we'll stay here. I came through Zarathustra and delivered those who called on me in faith, and they became my chosen for a season. But they allowed evil to usurp up their hearts. Their hearts. Key word now. They squandered my substance in building temples and providing a superabundance of priests and priestesses. They raised up the sword and spear for me. Yes, by blood and death they established kingdoms and called them by my name, Ormaz. Look at that. Look at that. The same way the Israelites was supposed to be a priesthood, an example before the people, righteousness, no killing. And then they changed, became warriors and started spilling blood. The Zarathustrians did the exact same thing. At first, the Zarathustrians was pure and holy under the Zarathustrian customs, and then they got corrupted. Look, for a season. He says, my chosen for a season. A season is 400 years. A season, so anytime you hear the word season in the OAHSPE, understand that it's dealing with a 400-year time period. So what it's saying right here technically is this. I came through Zarathustra and delivered those who called on me in faith, and they became my chosen for 400 years. And after that 400 years, they allowed evil to usurp up their hearts, just like the Israelites. It was after the 400 years that they started to interbreed with the Canaanites and start to go astray, just like the Zarathustrians. But this took place before the Israelites, but it's the same concept. The spirit of my voice they put aside, but the words they retained and added earthly meanings to them. See that? By which they proclaim darkness for light and light for darkness. And the poor and distressed who worship me in truth and in spirit have learned to hate the established words, for which reason they are persecuted, bound, taxed, and despitefully used. See that? So they're showing you how the truth becomes corrupted. And this is during Brahma days, and this is a reflection to Brahma talking about how the Zarathustrians got corrupted. So the Zarathustrians in Brahma day are corrupted the same way the Israelites and the Jews today are corrupted. Yes, they impress into service of war those who would not kill because of their natural love for me and for my created sons and daughters. Thus they take these from their kindred, saying to them, come away from peace and kill. Be a slayer of men. Be a soldier of death for the glory of the king. Is that not exactly what the Israelites did? Don't Numbers say, Numbers, the book of Numbers, didn't they go to war? Numbers? Where we at with it? The book of Numbers, chapter 1, verse 1. What it states? Numbers, chapter 1, verse 1, verse 4. Verse 3. Look what that states. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 1, verse 3. From 20 years old and upward, all that are able to go forth to war in Israel, thou and Aaron shall number them by their army. So Israel about to go to war, and what the book say? Yes, they have impressed into service of war those who would not kill. See that? Like before that, like when they're being from 20 years old and upward, those set of men never killed before. But now they're being commanded to go from peace to war, to killing. So it says from 20 years old and upward, all that are able to go forth to war in Israel. So these men that are about to go forth to war has never went to war before. They was at peace before. But now they're being told to go kill. What the OAHSPE say? Yes, they have impressed into service of war those who would not kill because of their natural love for me and for my created sons and daughters. Thus they take these from their kindred, saying to them, come away from peace and kill. Be a slayer of men, be a soldier of death for the glory of the king. See that? I commanded them since the ancient times to kill not at all. My words were plain. But the kings commanded the priests to interpret my words in such a way that war could be justified. Now, let's prove that. Precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. I'm surgical with this bitch, Jake. Damn Exodus. Hold on, where is the thou shalt not kill verse? You know how we do. Exodus 20. That was close. That was 18. What'd that say? What'd that say in plain goddamn terms where a child can understand? Thou shalt not kill. What did the OAHSPE say right here? I commanded them since the ancient times to kill not. My words were plain. I commanded them since ancient times to kill not at all. My words were plain. And keep in mind, this is before Moses. This is before Moses, what we're reading in the OAHSPE with Brahma. Brahma came before Moses. I commanded them since the ancient times to kill not at all. My words were plain. Thou shalt not kill. That's plain. There is nothing deep to explain. There's no hidden messages behind that. There's no layers of understanding to that. Thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not kill is plain. What it states, I commanded them since the ancient times to kill not at all. My words were plain. Now, there go the words being plain, but then when we come to Numbers, from 20 years old and upward, all that are able to go forth in war in Israel, they're going to kill. Matter of fact, let me find that better verse. You know where we're going. Thus saith the Lord. This is the Lord of hosts. This is the same Lord of hosts that said up here, thou shalt not what? Kill. Who's talking here? Who's talking? We may forget sometimes. Who's talking? Who's talking? And God spake all these words. God spake all these words. Now, when Samuel, thus saith the Lord of hosts, same person, right? So God spoke all these words saying, I am the Lord your God. But when we come down to verse 13, thou shalt not kill. That's plain to see. But when we come over here, that same God now is telling you to what? Smite. To smite someone is to kill them, to slay. What happened to thou shalt not murder and kill? But now you're over here slaying. What did the OAHSPE say? I commanded them since the ancient times to kill not at all. My words were plain. But the kings commanded the priests to interpret my words in such a way that war could be justified. See that? The priests switched the words around. I commanded them against taking that which is another's. Let me stop right there. I commanded them against taking that which is another's. Let's go into the law. Thou shalt not steal. What are they doing in Samuel? They're going to take over the land of Canaan. What does it state? Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy what? All that they have. Spare them not, but slay them both, man, woman, infant, suckling, ox, sheep, camel, and ass. See that? Utterly destroy all that they have. They may take some things in the process. Oh man, I may need that little sword right there. Let me go ahead and take that. Taking that which is another, stealing. The OAHSPE say, I commanded them against taking that which was another's. What are they taking that which is another's? The land of Canaan. The land of Canaan belonged to the Canaanites. The Israelites going in there, what? Taking that which is another's. And then what it states? What it states here? My words were plain. My words were plain, my nigga. Don't steal. Thou shalt not steal. Ain't no secret code to that. Ain't no mystery explanations to that. It's simple and plain. My words were plain, but the kings commanded the priests to interpret the meaning in such ways that the king could exact tribute for their own glory. And so they levy wherever and whenever they desire, saying, for the defense of the king and the country. This is how the words of the Creator got perverted by the kings and priests. Thus, they have perverted my commandments from beginning to end, from Genesis to Revelations. But I declare to you that in my sight, I will hold him accountable who kills one man. Let's stop right there. Uh-oh. This is a declaration from the Creator. He says, but I declare to you that in my sight, I will hold him accountable who kills one man. Now let's go up here to Judges, chapter 20, right? He said, if you kill one man, you held accountable for that, right? One man gets killed, you held accountable for that. So now, but I declare to you that in my sight, I will hold him accountable who kills one man. Now watch this. And the children of Israel went up and wept before the Lord until evening, and asked counsel of the Lord, saying, shall I go up again to battle against the children of Benjamin, my brother? And the Lord said, go up against them. What did the OAHSPE say? But I declare to you that in my sight, I will hold him accountable who kills one man, and 10 times accountable if he kills 10 men, and 100 times for 100. They shall not hide death and murder from my sight by the word war. In my Xerxes voice in the movie 300. Huh? But look what's going on here. Look what's going on here. And Benjamin went forth against them out of Gibeah the second day, and destroyed down to the ground of the children of Israel again 18,000 men. All these drew the sword. 18,000 men. What did this joint just say right here? But I declare to you that in my sight, I will hold him accountable who kills one man. How many men drop over here? 18,000 men. All fell by the sword. But over here saying, I will hold him accountable who kills just one man, and 10 times accountable if he kills 10 men, and 100 times for 100. They shall not hide death and murder from my sight by the word war. So what they going to be doing? What is their accountability of? What are they accountable for? Let's go to the book of Judgment, chapter 32. Let's go to the book of Judgment, chapter 32. Wham there. Wham there. Book of Judgment, chapter 32. Book of Judgment, chapter 32. What is the consequences, or what is the results? What is the accountability of these things? Let's see. Well, this is one thing they're going to have to do. This is definitely one thing. So he says, but I declare to you that in my sight, I will hold him accountable who kills one man, who kills 10 times accountable if he kills 10 men and 100 times for 100. They shall not hide death and murder from my sight by the word war. So what they gonna be accountable of? All right. So over here in the Bible, you know, God then told the Israelites to kill 18,000 men. So judgment, the book of Judgment, chapter 32, verse 8 states in the OAHSPE, judgment is rendered against all nations and people on the earth for this great darkness. What great darkness? Killing people. These early deaths. Because these angels are thus bound to mortals and cannot go away from them. See that? When you killed them 18,000 men, guess where they went? They feeded upon your ass. They grabbed you. You remember when King Von got hit? The way he was latched onto son? He was like latched onto him. It's like his bones locked up. He couldn't even let the nigga go if he wanted to. His arms locked up, right? When you kill a man, that nigga's spirit gonna latch onto your ass. As soon as he take that last breath and he come out of spirit, guess what? His spirit is gonna be like a magnet to your ass. He's gonna latch onto your ass, huh? So again, what it states, judgment is rendered against all nations and people on the earth for this great darkness, these early deaths. And because these angels are thus bound to mortals and cannot go away from them until such times as mortals die. Look at that now. Now keep in mind, 18,000 men got killed by the Benjamin. 18,000 men got killed by the tribe of Benjamin. That's 18,000 souls that could feed on the tribe of the Benjamites. Judgment is rendered against all nations and people on the earth for this great darkness, these early deaths. And because these angels, meaning the people who got killed, when you cross over, you're an angel. They are bound to mortals, the living, and cannot go away from them until such times as mortals die. Mortals are responsible, bound to train them by example of righteousness and good works to raise them up. So by your good works, if a spirit latch onto your ass after it die, you doing good works, you helping raise the spirit. See that? But these are the spiritual conditions. This is what you're accountable for. Right here, too. You're going to be over here chilling for a minute. Watch this. This is, see that? Keep in mind. Behold, I declare to you that in my sight I will hold him accountable. Who kills one man 10 times accountable? Who kills 10 men? Likewise with 100. Here's the accountability right here. And this is the bondage I put upon all those who do not obey my judgment and conform to them. They shall not rise above the first resurrection in heaven while war remains upon the earth. Even though their bondage is 100 years or 1,000 years, yet this my judgment against them shall not be put aside. That's where you niggas is headed. You ain't gonna remain. You're gonna remain within and below the first resurrection, while war remain on earth. So while y'all God is over here telling you to go kill off 18,000 of the tribe of to go kill off the Benjamites, and the Benjamites ended up slaying 18,000 of the Israelites, and God is the consulting force behind that. What does that say about your God? When the OAHSPE is letting you know that these spiritual conditions for such behavior, you're not even going to rise above the first resurrection. Why your God ain't tell you that? Why your God didn't tell you that if you go to war, there's bondage after death? Why your God didn't tell you that when you go to war, you could be born in chaos after death? You're not following a righteous God. A righteous God will inform you of these things so you could avoid participating in war and destruction and death. Again, this is the bondage I put upon all those who do not obey my judgment and conform to them. They shall not rise above the first resurrection in heaven while war remain on the earth. Even though their bondage is 100 years or 1,000, yet this my judgment against them shall not be set aside. See that? Again, neither shall any king, King David, Queen Sheba, queen, or any other ruler in the entire world, Pharaoh, the kings of Israel, the Mesopotamian kings, the Babylonian kings, all you niggas is under the same goddamn belt. Neither shall any king, queen, nor any other ruler in the entire world impress as a soldier any man who is unwilling to engage in war. And whoever does not obey this my judgment shall not rise above the first resurrection in heaven while war remain on the earth. So all you niggas who's following this God over here, this God of war, let me get the God of war verse. Y'all niggas is crazy following the God of war. You don't know what you about to get yourselves into. The spiritual chaos you niggas is about to enter. You and your God. Exodus 15:13. You and your God is going to be in the same confines of hell. Look at that. The Lord is a man of war. See that? Yo, so why you niggas running around, hey, the Lord is a man of war, but your goddamn Lord did not tell you about these spiritual conditions. Huh? He didn't tell you about these spiritual conditions? But I declare to you that in my sight, I will hold him accountable who kills one man, or 10 times, or 100. But how you gonna follow a God of war when you got these accountabilities of slaying these men hanging over your head? The Lord is a man of war. And he describes himself as a man of war right here. And Benjamin went forth against them out of Gibeah the second day and destroyed down to the ground of the children of Israel again 18,000 men, all drew the sword. And the children, then all the children of Israel went, and all the children of Israel and all the people went up and came where? Unto the house of God. You just got your ass whooped. 18,000 of your brothers just got killed. And God is the one who told you to go out there. And you lost the battle. You got to understand what type of God you follow. You're not following the Creator. You're following Satan, the adversary, the one who opposes Creator, right? According to the Christian theology narrative. You dig? They profess to be faithless in me, but they immediately go and build fortifications of earth, stone and wood. And as for those who know me in spirit and truth, perceiving I am wrongly interpreted for evil's sake, being those who rebel in their souls against these iniquities. These they cease and press as lifelong slaves, or refusing, they kill them. That's talking about the rebels, the niggas who's rocking with the Creator but ain't with the bullshit. Huh? You see what that shit said? Look what it says. And as for those who know me in spirit and truth, perceiving I am wrongly interpreted for evil's sake. That's us trying to tell you niggas, because we coming with spirit and truth. But you're following the perception of God in your Bible for evil's sake. You think the God of the Bible is the Creator. You think the God of the Bible is the one coming with spirit and truth, not knowing that God is an evil God. Look what it states. And as for those who know me in spirit and truth, like niggas like us, perceiving I am wrongly interpreted. We perceive that the Creator is wrongly interpreted in the Bible. That's why we put our necks and keep our necks on the false gods. Because the false gods wrongly interpret the ways of the Creator by practicing evil and genocide. And your monkey ass believe that this is the Creator. And here we are trying to expose these false gods are not the Creator, but you looking at us like we the bad gods. What did the verse say again? And as for those who know me in spirit and truth, perceiving I am wrongly interpreted for evil's sake. Look what else it say. Being those who rebel in their soul against these iniquities. That's us, my nigga. We rebelling against these false gods, nigga. You can't get us to believe your biblical God no more because of his iniquities, his lies, his contradictions. Thou shalt not kill. And then he's telling the Israelites to kill off the Canaanites. And then he's telling the Israelites to kill off the tribe of Benjamin and Israel, their brother. What kind of God is this, my nigga? Like, I need some explanation. Being those who rebel in their souls against these iniquities. We rebelling against these iniquities. And then rebelling against these iniquities, what happens? These they size and impress as lifelong slaves, or if refusing, they kill them. These are like your political prisoners, your revolutionaries who goes against the system and they lock them up. Omi Abu Jamal type niggas. See what I'm saying? The niggas who fought for the cause and fought for freedom, but they locked them up. These concepts been going on. And those who work such wickedness say, behold, we have the Zarathustrian law, the Ahumazdian law, the Ormazdian law. Ours is the holy, the revealed word. Let no man raise up his voice against these truths, or he shall surely be put to death. Huh? That's how some of these Israelites be feeling when you go up against that Bible. Oh, the Lord's going to strike you dead. Like, goddamn, my nigga, really? For speaking up against a book? But I looked down from my holy heavens and saw, and my ears heard, and I cried out in my soul for the evils of the earth. And I said, behold, I will go and deliver those who have faith in me in spirit and truth. And I went over the land of the earth, but found no man in whom my light could shine. So I called my holy masters of generations, the Lewis, my angels high raised in heaven. And I said to them, come and dwell on the earth many generations, and by inspiration raise me up one in whom my light shall shine, for I will surely deliver my people. See that? See that? See that? Give me a one in the chat if you get this understanding. You know how we do. You know how we do, family. We bring this information out and indulge and go deep. Breaking out the secrets and codes of spirituality. You dig? It's a blood clot vibes. It's a vibes, yes, family. The late 1800s brought out some greats from what? Noble Drew Ali and them boys, Haile Selassie and them boys. You dig? It's a blood clot vibes, yes, family. You don't know. You know how we do. Yes, family. I have the 7 circle Quran with the brother Noble Drew Ali. Shout out to the God. Yeah, I got that circle 7. Got that. Got that all marked up. Yes, family, you don't know vibes are going on, yeah? It's a blood clot vibes. Yes, family, we have to just vibe out now, you dig? It's just vibes out. Just want to hit with that quick little vibes. You know what I'm saying? Just vibing out, you know how we do. It survives. Now, here's another interesting thing in the story of Brahma. Like I said, in the story of Brahma, he had 7 sons. And one of the sons' names was Vede or Veda. So we're going to check this out. Now I declare to you who are assembled, the time is at hand, and you are also many parts in my works. Even as though my angels you name these sons, so also according to their names I will establish my kingdom. Now check this out. Look at this. Therefore permit Veda, that's the son of Brahma, to write down the words I have spoken. For lo, he has learning and memory provided to that end. Be watchful for when I come again. So they're telling, God is telling them, get the son Veda to write the words. Him, Veda, to write it down. Why? Because his memory is great, right? Look at this. Jehovah Ormazd ceased, and Brahma woke as from a trance, abracadabra. Though he had heard all that was said, so Veda remembered every spoken word, and he wrote them down on cloth, prepared for that purpose. And this was the beginning of a new name of people on earth. For through they were in fact faithless, nothing but faithless, yet their neighbors sometimes call them Vedans and sometimes Brahmins. See that? Or Brahmins. That's where it came from. But look who spoke the Veda. So the Vedas that you see in India was written by the son of Brahma. So here we have Veda. The word Vedas. What is Vedas? The most ancient Hindu script written in early Sanskrit contains hymns, philosophies, guidance, and rituals for the priests of the Vedic religion. See, the same Veda is the same son of Brahma. Look at the etymology of the word. It says the Sanskrit word Veda means what? Knowledge, wisdom, is derived from the root vid, to know. This is reconstruction as being derived from the Proto-Indo-European root eud, meaning see or know. See that? So the word means knowledge, wisdom, to know, to see or know. And then when we come back to in the OAHSPE, to the son of Brahma, it states that, so Veda remembered what? See that? So Veda remembered every spoken word, and he wrote them down on cloth, prepared for that purpose. So he's the one that wrote the word. He's the one responsible for taking the oral tradition and putting it on pen and paper. This is how the oral tradition is handed down. It's a person born in that time, capable of memory, great memory, to the point where, just like it states here, so Veda remembered every spoken word. It's just like a script. It's just like a rap song. When you write a rhyme, you remember every single words of your rhyme. How many of you wrote songs? How many of you got songs? How many of you ever produced an album and damn near know every song on the album? That's due to great memory. See that? So don't think this shit is too far-fetched when a nigga write down some shit and you're like, oh man, that can't be. How can it be? You ever been to a Wu-Tang concert? You ever been to a hip-hop concert? You ever been to an R&B or rock concert when they go through like 20 songs right off the top of the dome, they know them? Same shit. Same shit. You got the same gift in music to have memory like that. You dig? So the Vedas is just that. These are the words of Brahma's son. They became known as the Vedas. The Vedas. Shit run deep, family. The Sanskrit term Veda as a common noun means knowledge. Knowledge is to know. The term in some contexts, such as hymns of the Vede, meaning obtain or finding wealth. And the interesting thing, like I said, the Sanskrit are the mutilated times words of Kabbalistes. So Kabbalistes corrupted the words of the holy Brahma, the Vedic words. He corrupted it. We exposed that already. How the words of Brahma got corrupted, no different than how your Bible words, your biblical doctrine got corrupted. These false gods out here just corrupting everything. Where that said in the book of talks about the mutilated remains, but I'll come back to that. But yeah, yo, you know what I mean? Easy work, family. Easy blood clot work. Yes, family. It's the blood clot vibes. Let's vibe. Yes, family. It's the vibes out, yeah. Create a gang in the building. You know how we do. Create a first, everything after. Create a first, everything after. It's all about ascension. Speak it, believe it, make it into a reality. Dig. Boy, Selah, Shalom chiming in. You know how we do. We just vibing out. Make sure to check out Atlanta's Ugly 2.0 episode 2 coming on tonight. Your boy Selah Shalom in the building in the all black suit doing what I do. You know how we do. Yeah, yo. I ain't thinking about it. I'm about to do a web series for this channel. I got a web series coming for this channel dealing with the knowledge. Hold on, family. Yes, family. You live and direct. You know how we do. It's the vibes. You know what I mean? But you make sure y'all tune in tonight. Right here, you see it. Make it full screen for y'all for a minute. Ben, for my family, you know what it is. For those who into the hood films and things of that nature, your boy Selah Shalom, director, writer, engineer, do it all. Do it all. I filmed this shit right here, you know what I mean? All this good works. Trying to progress, you know what I mean? So check it out tonight, 7 o'clock, Atlanta's Ugly 2.0, episode 2, season 8. We getting busy. That's how we do. And with that, family, I'm about to push it on out, man. I'm about to go enjoy this day. I'm about to head to the park. know what I mean? Get some sunshine, or absorb some sunlight, enlighten within the inner temple. You know what I mean? The way you purge out evil spirits, you get some of that sunlight. Absorb that sunlight through your eyes, and your light is gonna enlighten the spiritual body. And it's gonna remove the spirits of darkness, because the spirits of darkness don't like the light. You look into that sunlight, them niggas up out of here. Shalom! They gone. And with that, your boy Selah Shalom is up out of here, family. Peace, love, and light until next time. Create a gang, see you in the chat. Hello. You know how we do. It's a vibes.